What's going on, guys? So how do we fix democracy in America? For those of you who want the too long didn't watch answer, give Americans who vote a $50 tax credit, make Election Day a federal holiday, enact automatic voter registration, enact same-day voter registration, move to ranked choice voting, move in the direction of publicly financed elections, combat gerrymandering by turning redrawing over to nonpartisan independent redistributing commissions, enact congressional term limits, overturn Citizens United, give non-violent felons their voting rights back when they've served their time, provide a pathway to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants, and give statehood to Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. Alright, so going into the not-so-longer answers, so giving Americans who vote a $50 tax credit, this just gives people another reason to go out and vote on Election Day. I mean, who doesn't want a tax deduction of some sort and more money? Make Election Day a federal holiday. This will again increase voter turnout. 2.7 million registered voters didn't vote in 2016 due to being at work, being, quote, too busy, or having a conflicting schedule. And it would also turn voting into a celebration for democracy, so that's a good thing. Enact automatic voter registration. Citizens of a city, state, or nation are automatically registered to vote. We should do it federally. I don't mind on the state or local level, but I think doing it federally would have the best outcome. It allows people the freedom of opting out, so there is a point for you freedom lovers. Enact same-day voter registration. It allows people to register to vote on the same day of an election. And again, it would be best if implemented federally, in my opinion, but I don't mind states and cities doing it, but yeah. Move to ranked choice voting. Alright, bear with me because I'm about to give a definition. Ranked choice voting is an electoral system, quote, in which voters rank candidates by preference on their ballots. If a candidate wins a majority of first preference votes, he or she is declared the winner. If no candidate wins a majority of first preference votes, the candidate with the fewest first preference votes is eliminated. The first preference votes cast for the failed candidate are eliminated, lifting the second preference choices indicated on those ballots. A new tally is conducted to determine whether any candidate has won a majority of the adjusted votes. The process is repeated until a candidate wins an outright majority. And this graphic I have right here is a good example of what it's about. But if you want to understand the whole process, I will link a video in the description so you guys can see how that all works out. Move to publicly financed elections. Give citizens a special credit card account that can only be used for candidates in local, state, and federal elections for an election year. Give each citizen at least $50 of credit to spend on an election, so that can go to any candidate in one election cycle. But moving to the system gets private interest out of the campaigns, so that is a great thing. Combat gerrymandering. So another definition, but shorter than ranked choice voting. Gerrymandering is a practice intended to establish an unfair political advantage for a particular party or group by manipulating district boundaries. So district drawing is usually in control of whichever party has power in a certain area, and as you can see right here, this is Representative Dan Crenshaw's district of Texas. That thing is gerrymandered AF. I mean, look at that right there. But anyways, the best solution of this is to turn redrawing of counties and districts over to nonpartisan independent redistributing commissions. So that just gets it out of the hands of politicians who have control of the state or the district, and it's a more independent process. Enact term limits on congressional members. Yeah, I've always wanted term limits for Congress members since we do it for the president. Just doing some research, I think term limits of 18 years total at each level of government seems reasonable. So senator would serve 3 terms, and I know this sounds like a higher number, but Congress people would serve 9 terms, but they only serve 2-year terms, so I mean that explains the high number. Alright, now we're getting to the 2010 Citizens United Supreme Court case. The Supreme Court decision allows billionaires and corporations to make unlimited donations to super PACs, which drown out the voices of ordinary Americans. That is not good for democracy, as Money Man right here might indicate. Give nonviolent felons their voting rights back when they've served their time. At least 6 million people in the United States are disenfranchised due to felonies. I know it's about 25, somewhere in between 25 to 40%, depending on what study you look at, are non-violent felons. And so I think when they've served their time, they should get their voting rights back. I'm not completely on board with people who have committed violent crimes, getting their voting rights back, but that's for another video maybe. Provide a pathway of citizenship for undocumented immigrants. 11 million undocumented immigrants currently reside in the U.S., and most have no pathway of citizenship. So we need to set that path up. I mean, most of these people are just fleeing violence and pursuing a better life, so I want them to have an easier path to citizenship, one that's doable. And lastly, give statehood to Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. So D.C. and Puerto Rico have a combined total of around 3.9 million people with no federal representation as of 2019. The benefits of statehood include an additional $10 billion per year in federal funds, increased local job opportunities, you get 2 fresh new senators, have the ability to set laws and budgets without getting any form of congressional approval, and have a say in who will be in the president's cabinet, head of any agency in the federal government, or those who will serve in the federal courts. And Puerto Rico actually gets the additional benefits of the right to vote in presidential elections, electoral college electors, higher Social Security and Medicare benefits, higher minimum wage, and bankruptcy protections. And here are the sources. So this concludes my video on how we can fix democracy in America. Thank you so much for watching.